The purpose of today's pantry tour is not just another video showing you what I have in my pantry, but rather encouraging you to contemplate a year without a grocery store. If everything was gone from the grocery store shelves June 1st, what would you feed your family? What have you stored in your home? What are you growing on your own property? Where do you source local foods? Do you know people that could sell meat, dairy, produce? Could you pick fruit from a local orchard? What if you had to total up everything that you have right now and divide it by 12 in order to ration what you have left for an entire year? How many people are you feeding? Do you have no children? 10? Do you have elderly parents that live with you? Would you help your neighbors? Yesterday, my daughters helped me take inventory of all the food storage we have in our entire house. It was really helpful to get it all on paper, to count every can, to weigh every bag, and to think through a year without a grocery store for our family of 10. How much meat do we have? How many vegetables? Are we growing enough this year to supply the majority of our produce for next year? How are we going to preserve it? How could we get more meat on our farm that we could produce ourselves? How can we supplement our animal feed if places like Tractor Supply run out? What all can we make from scratch using 300 pounds of wheat and flour? Do I need to write down other recipes to use rice and beans and the basic items that we keep in store? What kind of foods would we run out of quickly? And how can I adjust those meals to do without things that we love, like shredded cheese and sour cream? What kind of sauces can I make from scratch? Do I need to stock up on other ingredients such as mayonnaise and olive oil, herbs and spices, so I can make those sauces to jazz up the simple dishes that we would be making? How about things like molasses and sugar, so that we could make brown sugar and still have treats every once in a while? Do I have enough fat stored to still be able to make things like bread, tortillas, baked goods? Do I have printed recipes for easy basics like biscuits, sandwich bread, pasta? How about convenience meals? They don't have to be healthy, they just need to fill bellies. I only have 3 little cases of ramen. Those are $2 a box. Why not buy some more? I placed an Azure Standard order this month, which I haven't done in about 6 months. I bought 150 pounds more hard wheat and 100 pounds of organic oats. How will I store those when they arrive? Am I using what we have stored wisely? Are we letting things expire? I know dates don't mean much to some people, but to some they mean a lot. We would certainly use something like mayonnaise or peanut butter that has gone beyond its date and hasn't been opened yet, but it's important to keep an eye on those dates and write them down in a place that's easy to see when you're grabbing one amongst many. What am I going to can this year that I haven't canned before, such as salsa, ketchup, or barbecue sauce? Are you growing something as simple as lettuce, spinach, or kale, so that your family can have salad and fresh greens on a regular basis? What do you have to put on those salad greens? Do you have the means to make salad dressing, or do you have enough stored up? How about other convenience foods, such as this minestrone in a jar? This just takes 10 cups of water and 1 can of crushed tomatoes to make a meal for my family of 10. I would also be able to serve homemade rolls on the side with a little bit of butter. We have canned venison, canned potatoes, and canned carrots to make a very simple beef stew. Canned chicken, canned carrots, and flour and oil to make chicken and dumplings. We can make pasta and have fettuccine alfredo. Marinara sauce, pasta, and canned meat for spaghetti. Collard greens, peanut butter, crushed tomatoes, sweet potatoes for West African peanut soup. Lentils, crushed tomatoes, and coconut milk are the base for creamy coconut lentil curry. Oats, honey, and peanut butter for making homemade granola bars. Canned chicken, homemade bread, and barbecue sauce for barbecue chicken sandwiches. Pinto beans, Spanish rice, and cornbread for a simple meatless meal. I just wanted to get your wheels turning and encourage you to think about a year without a grocery store. There actually is a book called A Year Without a Grocery Store. You might find it very helpful if you're just getting started or need some ideas on what to make from the food that you're storing. It can be found anywhere that sells books and also on Audible if you'd like to listen. Don't forget simple ingredients like tea bags, lemon juice, and sugar to make simple pleasures such as homemade lemonade or sweet tea. And of course, make sure you write down a from-scratch recipe for waffles and pancakes and keep syrup on hand. All of the ingredients that you see in this cabinet are so inexpensive, with the exception of honey, which has skyrocketed over the last 6 months. We don't keep a lot of junk food in our house, but we do have about a dozen boxes of brownie mix and about a dozen bags of chocolate chips. If we had to, we could stretch those out and have just one a month as a treat on the weekends. And last but not least, please don't forget about spices and herbs, salt and pepper. These containers are anywhere between $4 and $9 for several months' worth at places like Sam's and Costco. And they'll go a long way in spicing up your simple dishes. I encourage you to take inventory of your food storage. Maybe you don't have food storage and you shop on a week-to-week basis. It's not too late to start. Please don't ignore the predictions and warnings. There's no need to be fearful, but it is important to use wisdom. What would you say to your children if you've done nothing after hearing for months and months that shortages are coming? Speaking of children, children are so resilient, and they love being on a team. We had a great conversation over a very simple dinner the other night, and we talked about the potential food shortages to come and how we can use what we have wisely and not be wasteful. We talked about adding more meatless meals to our regular routine and how we can take the very best care of our garden this year so it produces as much as possible that we can put away for the coming months. Thanks for watching.